Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and in today's video I want to propose some ideas on how to fix Overwatch Competitive. Overwatch Competitive, and even to a certain degree Overwatch, is starting to get really broken, and I want to propose some ideas so that way Overwatch could end up repairing itself, give itself like its healing, because it needs healing like Genji, and I just want to end up proposing some ideas to fix the game, make it better, because right now it's kind of in a iffy state and starting to get a little bit frustrating. What am I saying? It's actually a lot frustrating, but I still love the game, still love Overwatch. I just don't want to see it have a problem, so I'm suggesting fixes to these problems. If you guys have fixes, let me know in the comments section down below. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on what you think would be a good way to fix Overwatch, if you have a particular thing that's bothering you. So let's talk about this. So in competitive right now, it's way too easy to throw, it's way too easy to leave, it's way too easy just to give up and leave your team screwed. So these are some things that I think should be added into the game that should make the game run a lot better, make it more fun. The very first thing is that there needs to be some form of forced game chat. I am so sick of teammates not communicating with me. This is a really big thing that I really need to point out. If I get into a lobby and I end up having 0 people communicate with me, I just auto assume we're going to lose. That's because usually when you end up going to a competitive match, everyone's communicating. And if you have a team that doesn't want to communicate with you because let's say you're soloing or you're duoing and the rest of your team doesn't want to listen, or they're hiding in a party and they're not even like talking to anybody in their party, they just don't want to talk or don't want to listen to you, then what the hell are they even doing playing competitive? Like, go to quick play. So like, there needs to be some form of forced game chat so that way people can at least listen to you, because people don't communicate. And I understand that big thing of that, contributor is the next gen consoles, just nobody talks kind of like they used to on 360. But if you could just simply listen, that would help out a lot more, because the group up with me and the I need healing thing sure are fine. But if you can't say like, oh, there's somebody over here, or this guy's one shot, or I really need specifically this person to come here, or they're on point, or blah blah, that stuff, if that can't be communicated, you can easily lose. And even if the enemies are communicating with like one person, that still ends up helping them because they at least have communication. And I feel like that there should be a forced game chat system. If you just don't want to talk to somebody, you just mute your mic, and if you don't want to hear them, you mute them. That way you don't have to worry about it. By default, you should be thrown into forced game chat when you're with your buddies or by yourself. If you don't want to talk to one particular person or group, you mute them. If you don't want to talk, you mute yourself, or even both. That way you still can listen by default, and that way you don't have to worry about it if it's annoying. Because I know that a lot of people like to hide in their parties, and a lot of people like to talk to just their friends. But if you're playing in a competitive mode and you're lobby searching and you're gonna have different teammates all the time, you should at least be able to end up communicating with your teammates to a certain degree, because just leaving them empty-handed like that's kind of unfair. Maybe if you had a full party, you could be in a party, that I can see being a little bit more fair. But if you had like at least one random, then I'm pretty sure the one random would want to talk, because it's kind of annoying when I'm in a solo queue and then I have a lobby where I join and it's a set of my teammates, all 5 in a party, they don't want to communicate with me, and then I have 6 enemies that are all in their own party and they're all sweaty. That's kind of unfair. Like, because the lobby balancing, it tries to get as close as possible. If it's me as a random and then 5 teammates communicating with themselves and each other, and then I can't listen in, or they can't listen in on me, and then the enemies are all communicating in a 6 stack, that's just not fair. If I'm solo queuing, I should only be facing people that are solo queuing. It's like not fair how that they have that analogy or that logic there. And the second thing that I propose is that I believe that if people want to rage quit the game should just auto end. The game does this at the very beginning, or to a certain degree, just if the game hasn't really fully started. I think that the reason why they don't do this mid-game or even end-game is just because the game's been going on for so long, and in sports you can play without players all being there to a certain degree. But I feel like that in video games there should be the exception. It's just not fair how that if you end up playing and let's say that's overtime and you happen to be losing for the most part, or to a certain degree, and your team leaves or your teammates leave, you can't really do anything. So I feel like that if an enemy leaves or your teammates leave or you leave, the game should end and reset and not count as a loss or a win for anybody. So that way it's not an unfair win and not an unfair loss. Because if you win because your teammates leave, then good on you. And if you leave because your enemies leave, then that just means you got very lucky. And if you and have any of these circumstances happen, it's kind of an unfair win or loss. If it's a full 6 stack for both teams, and then you end up having an actual match, that's fair. But if your teammates leave or your enemies leave, the game should just auto end. I know that might seem really stupid to people, and it probably would seem stupid if, like, let's say, somebody did this to troll. Like, let's say that there was a payload map. Let's say you're playing on Watchpoint Gibraltar. You guys are neck and neck, and this last round, determines the winner, and you're like 1 centimeter away from pushing the payload in. You win. The enemies just realize they're gonna lose, and then they leave the game because they're not gonna get a penalty, and you won't get your win that way. Well, I do propose a penalty to the guy that leaves, though. The penalty should be something a little bit more severe, because not only is he wasting his teammates' time and the enemy's time by doing this, but he should end up getting some form of punishment, not only for leaving, but just for wasting everybody's time, because the whole entire match would just end. I don't think that the enemies should be punished. I don't think my teammates should be punished. I only think that the person that leaves should be punished. So keep that in mind. The last thing that I propose that really should just be added into the game as a whole is that, now keep in mind, before I say this, I want to say I don't have a hatred for people that one trick. I don't have a problem with people that insta-lock a certain hero. I just hate people that do it as a cover-up to throw. If you insta-lock Hanzo, but you have faith you're a good Hanzo and you feel like you're a contributor to the team and you're trying to do your absolute best, or you're offense Tor, but you're trying your hardest, I don't mind. It may frustrate me, but if you're trying your absolute hardest, that's all I could ask for. But if you're specifically using Torbjorn, Hanzo, Widowmaker, the quote-unquote throwing characters, to use them as cover-ups to throw the game and just shoot a couple of enemies every now and then just to make it look somewhat convincing, that's when you should be punished. And I feel like a way to prevent people from insta-locking, or people that just want to like end up playing one character specifically to throw, is I feel like that if you end up playing a character and you throw with them, I feel like that you should actually be banned from using that character for a while. Like, for example, if you use Widow to throw, and it's obvious you're throwing, like you're missing, spinning around in circles, staying in just spawn, you should be banned from like playing Widow, so that way you can't throw with them anymore. And that way you have to actually use a character and try, stuff like that. And also have a, ban temporarily, obviously, because otherwise that wouldn't do much. People just keep playing and throwing with different heroes, but I feel like that would be a contributor, like definitely like helping towards it. So that's one of the things I also suggest. These all aren't perfect. I have some other ideas, but if I listed every idea, we'd be here all day. If I ended up missing anything, please let me know. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about these ideas. What do you think about competitive Overwatch right now? Do you think that there's something that you would change personally? Do you think that's just fine? Because I hope to God you don't. I feel like that you should, at least to a certain degree, agree with me, because like this is really frustrating. But anyways, it doesn't matter. It's your opinion, not mine. So anyways, hope you guys did enjoy. Before the video does conclude, though, I am going to be showing you guys this clip that's going to be on the screen. It may already be on the screen, depending on what order I put this, but it's the most recent game that actually inspired me to make this video in the first place. It was a video that I got in Flashback, and it's a Eichenwald comp gameplay. And it was just my teammates all leaving, just because like the enemies were too sweaty, and the game didn't auto-end. And so I had to just sit there and just take the loss, which bothered me, because if I left on purpose, I would have received a much bigger loss, but I knew I wasn't going to win, so I was just really wasting my time, and it frustrated me. So this is just an example of why these things should be in place. I really should be masters. I really genuinely do, because like in Overwatch, the skill-based matchmaking is really hypocritical. My teammates suck, but my enemies are sweaty. So how come my teammates, which are my enemies, not just as sweaty as my enemies? It doesn't make any sense. It's like my teammates are bronze and my enemies are masters. So speaking of masters, I really genuinely do believe I should be masters, like I said if I haven't said it already, because I've gotten into a masters lobby as a platinum player in competitive CTF, and I know that's not normal competitive, but since the skill-based matchmaking wants you to be in a lobby of people your skill level or higher slightly than your skill level, and the fact that I got into a master's lobby genuinely shows that I should be a master, and I'm not because my teammates suck. So anyways guys, hope you did enjoy. I'll see you all later. Please leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.